Hi, welcome to Fusion Beads. I'm Katie, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Rainbow Connection necklace. This is the perfect project to customize in any color you like. We couldn't decide which colors we liked best, so we made 3 different versions. These are all featuring the Swarovski Crystal LacquerPRO colors, which come in a rainbow of color choices to choose from. We chose to highlight the lime, buttercup, and lilac as the center stone in our necklaces. To make this necklace today, we will be using 18 inches of base metal 0.8 millimeter beading chain and 2x2 crimp beads. We're going to use various colors of Swarovski crystal teardrop stones in size 14, 18, and 30 millimeter. For the version I'm showing you how to make today, we're going to be using the lime, mint green, and azure blue. We'll also be setting these into the Swarovski Crystal base metal settings for the teardrop shape. We're going to finish off our necklace with base metal cord ends, jump rings, and a lobster claw. All right, let's get started. So today we're going to be using wire cutters, chain nose pliers. I've got 2 pairs because we're going to be opening and closing jump rings. And I've got the tapered nylon jaw nose plier. Okay, so we're going to start by working with our 18-inch piece of beading chain here. And we're going to start stringing on our settings. And there's 2 holes in these settings, so we're always going to string through the one closest to the top of where it tapers down. So for this first one, I'm going to string through just the first hole of the setting. And then I'm going to pull it out so I can kind of hold on to the chain. And I'm going to string on one of our 2x2 millimeter base metal crimp tubes. And then I'm going to string through the second hole of the setting. For the next one, I'm going to string through the 18 millimeter setting. I'm going to go through both of the top holes on this guy. And for the middle one, I'm going to string through our 30 millimeter setting, again going through both of the top holes. The chain is not cooperating here, so I'm going to have to wiggle it through. There we go. If it's too clunky for your hand, you can always use your chain nose pliers to help guide it through a little bit too. Okay, and now we're going to string on our 14 millimeter, our last one. And again, we're going to string through the first hole, and then we're going to put on our 2x2 crimp bead, and then string through the second hole. Okay, now you want to center your settings on the chain so that they are in the middle of the chain, and they'll kind of curve around and nestle next to each other. And what we're going to do with our crimp beads is we're going to smash them flat on the inside of the 2 14 millimeter settings, and that will keep this in a nice kind of curved shape, and it will prevent them from flipping. So just grab on with your chain nose pliers to your crimp bead on the inside of one of the settings and kind of move it as close to the inside edge as you can. And then we're just going to take our crimp bead and smash it flat in there. And that will prevent this setting from moving anywhere over. And then the same thing on the other side, but you can kind of tighten it up, make sure it's nice and tight and the tension is nice along there. And again, move your crimp bead into the inside edge of the setting. As close as you can get it. See, it's in there. It kind of blends in because it's silver on silver, but it's in there as close to the edge as I can get it. And oops, I just moved it out of the way, but I'm just going to get it right back in there. And again, just smush it flat with your chain nose pliers. And that kind of locks these all in, so they're not going to go moving anywhere. So now we're going to go ahead and set our stones, and I'm going to start from the outside and work my way around. So I'm going to use my 14mm Azure blue stone, and we're going to be using our nylon jaw plier because that way you won't scrape the front of the crystal at all and you won't mar the surface of the setting as well. So you can just place your stone into the setting there. And you'll have a little bit of wiggle room. These will kind of move around a little bit still. I like to squish down the prongs kind of opposite corners from each other. So I'll start down at the bottom and then I'll move to the opposite corner on the top. And that way you don't get your stone moving around. And you're just gently pressing them down to kind of trap the stone in there. And make sure you do all four corners and that your stone is nice and set in there. So that's one down. And we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the 18mm. Go ahead and stick it into the setting. Again, I'll start at the bottom corner and I'll squish my prong down there. And then I'll move to the opposite side along the top. Make sure it's nice and tight and squeezing there. Then I'll do the one across from it on the top. And finally the one at the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to take our lime stone, the largest one, it's 30mm, little centerpiece. And set it in there. And again, we'll start at the bottom, move to the top corner opposite, got that big one set there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and finish off and set our other two stones here. So we'll work on our 18mm. This is in mint green. And our last one, our 14mm Azure blue. And now all of our stones are set, and we can go ahead and work on attaching our clasp to the end of the chain. Okay, let's go ahead and attach our clasp. We're going to use these little fold over chain ends. So we're going to place our beading chain into the chain end. So it's sitting nicely in there. And then using our chain nose pliers, you're just going to gently bend one side over at a time, squishing the chain end in there. And I just pulled it out, but just slide it back in and make sure it's nice and tight. And then we'll push the other side over. And so that captures the end of your chain. We'll do the same thing on the other side. There we go. And now we're going to use some of our jump rings to connect our lobster claw and our closed jump ring. So we're going to use both of our chain nose pliers because that will help us open and close these jump rings easier. So we'll open them to the side so that we can keep our nice jump ring shape. Go ahead and slide in your chain end and your lobster claw into your first jump ring. And then make sure you close it up nice and tight. You don't want anything falling out of your nice jump ring now. Okay, we'll do the same thing with our other side. We're going to drop in our closed jump ring instead of our lobster claw on this side. And then close it back up. And we're all set. So you can see you can make this necklace in a lot of different color variations. You can find all the products to make the Rainbow Connection necklace at fusionbeads.com.